There's a spot way back in the boondocks. All right, welcome everyone to another episode of the Canadian Country Music Podcast, sponsored by Hooligan Fuel Hot Sauce, where you can get the best tasting hot sauce for every occasion at hooliganfuel.com, including this new baby, Hooligan Fuel Tim Albertson Private Reserve. It's a tangy whiskey and honey heat barbecue sauce you can get right now until January 9th. Proceeds of that hot sauce goes to the George Jeffrey Children Foundation in Thunder Bay. So you're supporting an amazing cause at an amazing time. If you are watching on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in to the live premiere. Please make sure to click that subscribe button and that bell so you know when we premiere next. Also, give us the good old thumbs up. If you are watching the premiere, also click over to that live feed where you're chatting with me and the live artist as the show is going on. If you're listening on any major podcast streaming platforms such as Anchor, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Tim Albertson, Canadian country music artist and lover. Today, we have a very special guest. Listeners, on our Facebook group, we asked you who you wanted us to end our 2021 season off with, and by unanimous decision, it was Miss Hayley Verrall. Burlington, Ontario, Canada, country pop singer-songwriter Hayley Verrall is a fresh young artist who has quietly but quickly been edging her way into the Canadian country music community over the past couple of years with her roots and contemporary-inspired original music. Hayley has been honored to present her original music opening shows for, working with, and alongside other iconic Canadian musicians. About songwriting, though, Hayley says, while our musical journeys are all at different points in our original music may vary in style, as musicians, I think we share the same inspirations. Our music comes out of our day, our experiences, and the experiences of our friends, family, and those we meet. We are always on the lookout for a good story that says who we are, but which also feels like it could be somebody else's story too. We write about life, love, and the world, and hope that people will be inspired or encouraged if they are going through the same things. Canadian country music podcast listeners, please give it up for my guest today, the one and only Miss Hayley Verrall. Hayley, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me, Tim. I can't believe that this is what the country fans wanted. Me?
You know what? It's crazy because I even put up, I put James Barker Band. Do you want me to try and reach out to them? Do you want me to try to reach out to Brett Kissel? And there was a couple that are like, we want Jeff Fordron, we want this, we want that. And then all of a sudden, Hayley Verrall popped up on the thing and it blew up like wildfire. That's
hilarious.
It was to the point, within the first 2 hours of your name getting put on there was no point in even having the rest of the poll. You were too far gone funny. That I didn't think anybody was catching you. So I'm like, well, the listeners have answered me perfectly.
That's amazing. I really like that. It's a good way to end off the year as well.
Exactly. So first off, Hayley, I want to dig a little bit deeper into your musical background. When were you first hit with the music bug?
When was I first hit with the music bug? That would have to be when I was about maybe 6 or 7 years old. When I learned piano, I started piano lessons and I went to voice lessons. But when I first hit with the music kind of bug was when I was a baby. I was in the church choir listening to my dad and my mom sing, sticking crayons and pencils and the people that were holding me while I was in church. And then I finally joined that church choir and began singing and getting solos. And I just fell in love with it. And our choir director at the time was actually my piano teacher.
Oh, wow.
Really cool.
That's incredible. Well, also being from Burlington, you're in the stomping grounds of Boots and Hearts.
Yes, I would love to play at Boots and Hearts one year. I also wanted to go to it. I love camping.
Yeah. Have you been?
So much. No, I've not been. I've been interested, but I haven't gotten the chance to go.
Okay, I was always curious. Being from Burlington, did Boots and Hearts influence your concept of what kind of music you wanted to do at all, or was that just a perk to being there?
So that was just a perk to being there.
Okay.
Listening to so much country music and being influenced by Dolly Parton and the artists that my parents were listening to. Mm-hmm. That's how I kind of fell in love with country music.
Perfect. Well, that's what we're going to get into next. Who were your main inspirations? And let's think about stage performance and songwriting and even your personal life.
So there's a huge range of artists. I saw Dolly Parton years and years ago on stage and just seeing that stage presence and writing. I was actually writing a thing for college because we had to go to so many different concerts or places and write down what we experienced and what we saw and what we wanted to use from that.
Mhm.
And seeing her stage presence, how she treated the audience and how she captured the audience throughout her songs. She really inspired me to be a better performer in how I speak on stage. Because when I first started singing, I would go up on the microphone and be like, this is my song, enjoy, and then I'd play.
Yep.
But now you can't get me to shut up. So it's been a wild journey, and I still have way other influences as well, like the rec laws today with pop country, because I started out playing and writing traditional type of country music, and eventually, as I experienced more and I hung out with more people and made more contacts, I really enjoyed the pop country music and what we listen to today. So the rec laws, even Shania Twain is releasing some more kind of pop country things instead of the old traditional type of country.
Well, I would say that even Shania, like she was the one that kind of cast the first stone that kind of rippled us into the pop aspect.
Yes.
And then if you look farther on, like Taylor Swift then came into it and she really kind of went her own way. And now it seems as though like pop and country are almost one and the same.
Yeah. And I have a bigger influence to it. Really isn't in the country scene. Now he did do a country track with Dan and Shay, Justin Bieber. I love his story, where he's come from and how he's built up and changed throughout his years and his young start of fame.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely incredible. That's another spot not too far down the road from you, correct?
Yeah, it's in Stratford.
Yeah, that's awesome. So before we talk about your latest single, Side of Small Town, I wanted to talk about the song that put you on my radar last year, which is, of course, Dance Around It. This song went places for you. Is it fair to say that this was kind of your breakout single?
I think so. I can agree with that one.
Okay, so let's break down this track quickly. Who wrote it and produced it for you?
Mr. Dustin Bird. He's been all over the place. Such an amazing guy to work with and amazing musician himself.
Oh, 100%. What was your release strategy for this single? Was it more, did you look at more like the streaming, like Spotify, or were you looking more at radio?
So when it came to that, we released it to all Canadian country radio and streaming platforms.
Okay.
We felt that song was a big grab and a big thing that people would like and enjoy because it was my first entrance really into the pop country scene. Because the song I had released the year prior was more traditional sounding because it was produced in Nashville, right? So this song, we wanted to just push it out because Dustin Bird is a well-known producer, musician himself. And knowing who's on that track, and I just pushed it out to radio and streaming platforms, and it did really well for me.
Wicked. Now, how did you and Dustin actually first meet?
So my best friend, Angela Syracusa, I was at an open mic, and she kept bringing up the name Dustin Bird, showing me his songs. She gave me his phone number. We contacted him, and we eventually met him in person, one-on-one talking, because I'd always been interested in his songs and his music. But I never really went out there to make the full contact with them.
Yeah, absolutely. When was that? When did that happen? Was that pre-COVID?
Yes, way before COVID.
Fair enough. Okay, well, now that we know a little bit about Dance Around It, let's break down your new single, Side of Small Town, which just released Friday, correct?
Yes.
It is now
Friday, Saturday.
Fair enough. It released on the weekend and it's already over 1,000 plays. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. I can't believe that people are listening to it and enjoying it.
It's awesome. And I like the little, again, it's that poppiness. You have this, like, it's almost to a point now where you have this, I'm losing the word in my head right now, but when you put it on recognition. So you are recognized the second that I click on Spotify. You have that sound in there with Dance Around. It just has that little hook that you can kind of be like, this is a Hayley Verrall song.
Well, that's awesome. That's the whole goal, is to be able to be recognized and be different from everybody else.
Fair enough. Now, what things did you change in this release that you did from Dance Around It? I know there was also a release called Stir Crazy in there as well. But seeing as how the success that you had with Dance Around It, what techniques did you hold on to, or what techniques did you change?
Definitely the techniques that we changed was this time we're pushing it not only to Canadian country radio, we're pushing it to also the United States.
Okay.
And yeah, and we took more time with this one. We didn't rush it. And the timing was a lot better as well, because the pandemic had kind of slowed down a bit. When I was releasing Dance Around It, there were so many delays because we couldn't go into the studio. It was just a big thing like that. And this one was actually written by fully myself and another co-writer. So being able to have a song and hopefully hear it on the radio that not only am I singing on, but I have been part of the writing process, it'll be truly amazing.
Yeah, no, that's a whole different feeling, right? Now,
especially, yeah.
How about we talk about the songwriting? Where did Side of Small Town first come from?
So it was actually a really snowy day. I didn't even know if I could make it to the co-write.
Oh, geez.
But I pushed my way through it. And as soon as I got there, Angela had this one line, had this idea, fast phrases, we both regret, kind of that whole section. And we took that, and it started out as being like a relationship kind of love song. And then I kind of like, you know what? I want to make this an anthem. I feel like this could be an anthem, a powerful anthem. You can visualize the small town pride you see at college football games. And funny 100%. Enough, as we were releasing this, the Hamilton Ticats made it to the Grey Cup, right? You know?
Oh, that's fair enough. See how things really cool. Align right there?
Yeah. So seeing that cheering in the loyal crowds, the team showing off for its fans, I wanted to transfer that same small town ideals to relationships, you know, that classic small town simplicity and loyalty, the relationship won't break.
No, that's amazing. I even like your logo, the HV that's hidden in the scoreboard there. That is a really nice logo. I like that.
Thank you. That logo, that was built on, I like to write a lot of love songs, and I like singing love songs. So that heart was really cool. And then it has that HV in it, in the heart, so you can notice it's Hayley Verrall.
Oh, yeah. It's again, it's very clever and beautifully done.
Thank you.
Now, if you go check out your Facebook group, Hayley Verrall Music, you have a bunch of dates lined up for shows. First off, congrats, and I'm not jealous at all.
Thank you. I'm hoping they stay that way.
Fingers crossed, right?
Fingers crossed.
What can fans expect at a Hayley Verrall show?
Well, you can expect very slight comedy. I don't find myself funny. Sometimes I do, but sometimes I'm really not funny, and people can tell me that. I get my humor from my dad.
Fair enough, as we all.
But you can find upbeat energy, lots of engaging with the crowd, and a lot of talking about my songwriting as well. I try and share as much as I can. Roughly how long are your sets? They're the most average 45 minutes.
Okay. Is it usually all originals, or do you throw a couple covers in there as well?
It depends where I'm playing. So if I'm playing at a bar gig, I try and throw as many covers in as possible, because people are there. I'm kind of more background music, and people are there to chat and things like that. And it'll catch their eye if I'm playing a song they already know.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. So we have come to my favorite portion of this interview, which is YouTube exclusive content. So you do not get to hear this part on the podcast. This section is called Suspended in Time. So basically, I steal a picture from your social media, and I get you to describe what's going on in this picture. Sometimes they are funny. Sometimes they're cute. Today's picture seems very powerful. There are a few pics on your Facebook, and it looks like you two ladies are having one hell of a sing-off. So please, for the listeners watching on YouTube right now, can you please describe what's going on in this picture right here?
That picture. So that was part of the Honey Jam. Basically, it's an all-female, multicultural, multi-genre artist showcase, and I got to take part in it. And after we had done all of our solo acts and showing off our voices, it turned into a freestyle. So in the background of that picture, you can see more people in the background. That happened to be when someone took a picture of me with the microphone. The DJ was playing a bunch of random songs, like in beats, and we just put our own twist to it. So me and this other girl were just going back and forth with a song.
That's incredible. I was really hoping it was kind of like a rap battle, but I didn't think it would be. So That's awesome. Who won?
I don't remember. I hope it was me. Maybe.
Well, like I said, it looks like a very, very powerful picture. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
All right. So Hayley, 2021 is officially on its last weeks. Looking back at the year with all the chaos that we went through, openings and closings, 2 vaccinations turned into 3, 1 type of COVID turned into 7 different variants. I'm curious, what is Hayley Verrall's most proud moment looking back on an incredible year of music?
Wow, that's a good question. I think I have multiple proud moments. I would think this year was definitely, and 2020 as well. Like these 2 years have definitely been big learning experiences, and taking time to work on my social media, work on my songwriting, and make more contacts. And I think one of the most proudest moments of this year that's passed already was when I got inducted into the Burlington Performing Arts Center Hall of Fame. That
Yes,
was
congratulations on that.
Thank you. No, being able to, like, it's hard to, I'm like speechless about it still. It still hasn't hit me that now I'm in my Performing Arts Center for the entire time that building's going to be up for. So it's really cool that my own city allowed me to have such that honor, you know.
It's almost like that right there is a reward in all of itself.
Yeah, being able to be recognized by my own city is really cool. And after that had happened, I'm getting more events with the city and Ontario itself. So it was really cool.
100%. So what's next for Hayley?
What is next for me? Next year, I have so many co-writes lined up. Next year is just all about co-writing. This year, I didn't really co-write that much. That when I should have taken that opportunity. But now I want to take the opportunity with the people I've met and just start co-writing, because I believe more ears are better than one.
Yep, 100%. And you'll soon find out that as you co-write, you'll realize that everybody has almost a similar story.
Exactly, yes.
Now, the last part of our interview, I changed up a little bit. Usually, I ask, when do you know you've made it? But for our fans, I believe it's extremely important to let them know why we do this. So if a normal person is looking in from the inside, they're probably looking at us thinking we're insane for spending a boatload of money on the slight chance that we might be able to make a living out of this. But our reasons can outweigh the negativity and the letdowns of our industry. So Hayley, please tell me, what is your why?
Why I do what I do. So when I was younger, I really wanted to be a veterinarian, and I was told I was stupid and I wasn't smart enough to do it. So I kind of gave up on that. And being 5'3", I was interested in basketball, but being 5'3", you're pretty short, right?
Hey, Allen Iverson can do it.
So after that, I really, and knowing that I was doing piano already and singing in the church choir, I really found a love for music. So I took that more seriously in my music classes. Now, we didn't do a lot of piano or vocals in elementary school. It was more of ukuleles, recorders, and then I eventually went into trumpet. And then it wasn't until my 3rd year of college that I knew exactly what I was doing and why I was doing music. I had always gone to open mics and just sang and played, but I never really knew why. I just enjoyed the music. I just enjoyed doing it. And my 3rd year of college, when I started a program called Singing for Smiles, they wanted us to create something. Everybody was doing, I'm going to write a single, I'm going to release an album. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I felt like I needed to do something else. So I created a program called Singing for Smiles because a couple of years back, I had experienced from my my grandma had suffered from a stroke that basically paralyzed her right side of her body and her throat. And she grew up teaching my dad how to sing. And I got the musical bug from my dad. And when I started singing and pulling out my very first guitar that I had gotten for Christmas from him, the smile on her face, and when I was singing, she trying to sing, her eyes lighting up, and she actually got better from that. I knew this is what I need to do. This is my purpose, is music. And I took that story and that experience and I put it in Singing for Smiles. And I have a program where I go around to different retirement homes and nursing homes and sing classic country.
Oh my goodness.
So that's why I do it. And being able to put music to radio, it just gives more ears. People
No
can
doubt.
listen to what I write and what I do. Even though it may not be traditional country, I'm really enjoying the pop country scene, but I grew up with traditional country.
You'll always remember your roots.
Yes.
That's awesome. Oh, thank you for sharing that, Hayley. That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
The only reason I say that is because your reason why and my reason why are very similar. When my grandmother had passed away, I've got a microphone on my arm that says when words fail, music speaks. And on the headstock of the microphone where the switch is, my grandmother's initials are right there. And she's the one
that's amazing.
And she's the one that taught me how to sing. So when she passed away, in her gosh darn well, she wanted me to sing at her funeral. And so like I had sang like songs here and there, but for my grandmother, I wanted to write a song. So I wrote a song called Sketched, and that's where my music bug sort of kind of started. And I realized that, hey, I'm actually not too bad at this writing thing. I can tell a pretty good story when I have the means to. And then from there, it just kept going on. And I went to a George Canyon concert once, who's sitting in the middle of all those pictures there. So there's Kira Isabella there, George Canyon. Then we got Emerson Drive over there. I've got Tracy Lawrence down there, and then Gord Bamford.
That's awesome.
Yeah, George Canyon was the very first concert that I got to see at the auditorium. So it was like a big deal for me. And in between me and my mom, there was a 9-year-old on my side, and there was a grandmother that was like 95 on my mom's side. Both of them are rocking the hell out. And like that's where I realized, I'm like, not only does country music have this feeling where like everybody's included and everybody can have this good time and experience the same things, but it has the longevity from being noticeable to a 5-year-old and noticeable to a 95-year-old. That was the reason right there. That man right there.
Well, that's awesome. No, yeah. I like those pictures. Right. I'm going to eventually change my camera angle, put it the other way, and have pictures behind me instead of this where you can see the blue skies behind me.
Hey, that curtain right there is only for show. It's got nothing behind it, and then that I just wanted to put up because I figure like we need a backdrop. I like that. Of some sort.
I like that.
But yeah. Anyways, back into the conversations. Hayley, where can our followers reach you or find you on social media?
Wherever you do social media, that's Facebook, that's Twitter, that's Instagram. You can find me at Hayley Verrall Music. As well as if you like looking at websites and being able to grab every single piece of social media and streaming platforms, you can look at HayleyVerrallMusic.com.
Woo! Lastly, what piece of advice would you give an up-and-coming independent country artist?
The best advice, because I've been dealing with this, is don't be afraid of no. So don't be afraid of being rejected. Just keep going out there. The most important thing you can do is just play. Because eventually someone's going to hear you, whether it be a producer, maybe another musician, maybe another artist, or maybe a label. They'll hear you eventually, and someone's going to know somebody. So that's how I met the people that I met today, and who I'm still contacting and still best friends with, is through just going out there and chatting with people, making relationships and being friends and just understanding. Because if you just expect yeses all the time and be successful right away, that's not going to happen. No, success doesn't really happen overnight unless you're lucky. And especially in country music or music in general, there is millions upon millions of people all fighting for the same dream as you.
100%.
That's what I say. And I say, just keep songwriting. Even though the songs you write, you may feel that they're not the best songs. If you like them, you like them. And nobody else can really say about it. But what you can do is you can work and co-write with somebody, and they can help you make that song even better than maybe how you feel it may be or not.
100%. Perfect. Well, Hayley, thank you so much for joining me today. You have been on my radar for a while now, and you were destined to be on this podcast, whether or not you got voted in or not. When I heard Dance Around It come out, I had a feeling we would be sitting here today to talk about our love for music. So thank you so much for coming on and ending our amazing first season with a bang.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I have some questions for you.
Absolutely. It's gonna get loud by a bunch of proud, their guitar slinging, whiskey coke drinking. Gonna throw it down, shout out to the crowd. Gonna play the Brooks and Dunn to keep them singing. Bartender, pour up another round. Keep them